That railroad crossing up there is exactly a quarter mile away from here. On green, I'm going for it.
Welcome back to the channel, gearheads and film fanatics. Today, we're strapping in, hitting the nitrous, and taking a high-octane trip back to where it all began. The film that launched a multi-billion-dollar franchise, defined a generation's car culture, and gave us the iconic duo of Dom Toretto and Brian O'Connor. That's right, we're diving deep into the asphalt-scorching origins of the Fast and the Furious from 2001. Before this film, street racing was a subculture, a whispered legend. Afterward, it was plastered across billboards and ingrained in the global consciousness. So buckle up, because we're about to break down every pivotal moment, every character beat, and every epic race that made this movie an instant classic. Our story kicks off, not with a roar, but with a calculated strike. It's night, somewhere on the dark highways of Los Angeles. Three souped-up Honda Civics, glowing with neon underbody lights, execute a precision heist on a semi-truck, disappearing into the darkness with their pilfered electronics. Cut to day, and we meet Brian O'Connor, played by the late, great Paul Walker. He orders a tuna sandwich on white, no crust. A small detail, but one that instantly endears him to us, and, more importantly, catches the eye of Mia Toretto, played by Jordana Brewster. Mia is the fiery, no-nonsense sister of the legendary Dominic Toretto. Brian isn't there for the sandwiches, though. He's casing the joint, feeling out the local scene, specifically Toretto's crew. He finds himself in the heart of it, where Dominic Toretto, embodied by the indomitable Vin Diesel, holds court. Dom is the patriarch, the street king. He exudes an almost primal authority, a quiet intensity that commands respect.
You work for Harry, right?
Yeah, I just started.
You were just fired.
He lives his life a quarter mile at a time, and his crew, Jesse, Leon, and Vince, are his family. Brian, in his eclipse, finds himself drawn into a late-night street race, a chaotic symphony of engines and adrenaline. This isn't just about winning, it's about proving yourself, earning respect. He puts up his car's pink slip, a high-stakes gamble. This is Brian's initiation. The race is a blur of speed and near misses. Brian pushes his eclipse to its limits, but ultimately, Dom, with his superior skill and raw power, takes the win.
It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
When Brian loses, he's left owing Dom his car. But before Dom can collect, the cops raid the race. The racers scatter, and in the chaos, Brian swoops in to save Dom from getting arrested. That single act of loyalty, choosing Dom over himself, earns him a place in the crew. But the night is far from over, as they are confronted by rival gang leader Johnny Tran and his cousin Lance. Tran is Dom's rival, a ruthless gangster who runs his own crew and is clearly involved in shady dealings. We see the animosity between them, a simmering tension that threatens to erupt. After Brian's eclipse is destroyed in a drive-by shooting, orchestrated by Tran, it fuels Brian's desire for revenge, further entangling him in Dom's world. Dom brings Brian into his inner circle.
You can have any brew you want.
And here the theme of family is born. It's not just a gang of racers, it's a found family. Here's the twist, and it's a big one. Brian isn't just some kid looking for a thrill. He's an undercover LAPD officer, assigned to infiltrate this very crew and uncover the identities of the truck hijackers. He suspects Dom is the mastermind behind the heists. As Brian starts working in Dom's garage, he gets closer to the crew. He witnesses their camaraderie, their loyalty, the unbreakable bonds of family. He sees Dom's protectiveness over Mia and his fierce loyalty to his friends. We learn about Dom's past, his father's death in a stock car race, and the chip on his shoulder, the drive to live life on his own terms. Brian starts to see the world through their eyes, and it's not as black and white as his police badge suggests. He and Mia grow closer, their romantic tension undeniable, adding another layer of complication to Brian's mission. When Hector shows interest in buying parts for Honda Civics,
Yeah, you said you need 3 of all this stuff? Yeah, 3 of everything.
Brian grows suspicious and sneaks into Hector's garage, only to be caught by Dom and Vince. He explains that he's scouting Tran's cars in preparation for the upcoming Race Wars event. Later, Dom, Vince, and Brian investigate Tran's garage, where they uncover a stash of electronics. Brian relays the information to LAPD Sergeant Tanner and FBI agent Bilkins, leading to Tran's arrest at his family home.
The DVD players were purchased legally. All we've got on Tran and Company are a couple low-rent weapons charges and some outstanding speeding tickets.
However, it's revealed that the merchandise was obtained legally. This puts Brian in a precarious position. His superiors still believe Dom is the target, but Brian's gut is telling him otherwise. Then comes the race known as Race Wars, a massive gathering of street racers in the desert. It's a spectacle of speed, power, and the vibrant, untamed culture of illegal racing. Jesse, the brilliant but troubled mechanic of Dom's crew, races his Volkswagen Jetta against Tran. Jesse bets his car but loses badly, fleeing the scene in a panic, leaving Dom to deal with the enraged Tran.
Where's he going?
Went to the car wash.
The stakes are getting higher, the pressure mounting. The final act of the film is a masterclass in escalating tension. Brian finally realizes the truth. Dom and his crew are the truck hijackers. They're not just street racers, they're high-speed bandits, hitting trucks for electronics to fund their lifestyle and their cars. It's a devastating realization for Brian, who has grown to respect and even care for Dom and Mia. The crew plans one last desperate heist, knowing the heat is on. They target a semi-truck, but this time, the truck driver is armed and fights back. The heist goes sideways, quickly turning into a violent shootout. Vince is critically injured, shot by the truck driver. It's a moment of brutal reality, a stark reminder of the deadly consequences of their chosen path. Brian, torn between his duty and his loyalty, makes a choice.
This is Officer Brian O'Connor. I'm off duty MAPD. I need a life flight rollout right away.
He calls for medical assistance for Vince, revealing his true identity as a cop to Dom in a desperate attempt to save Vince's life. The betrayal is palpable. The family is shattered. With Vince safe, albeit injured, Brian pursues Dom, who is now a fugitive.
I didn't call the police, but don't push me! Put the gun down! I swear to God!
You are the cop! You're a cop!
Their confrontation is not just a pursuit. It's a clash of ideologies, of brotherhood and betrayal. They find themselves on the road, with Dom seeking revenge on Johnny Tran, who shows up in a surprise attack. Brian protects Dom, solidifying their complex bond despite the circumstances. Tran is dealt with, but now it's just Brian and Dom, mano a mano, on the open road. The climax is breathtaking. Brian in his Supra and Dom in his newly rebuilt monstrous Dodge Charger line up for one last race.
I used to drag here back in high school.
This isn't for money or pink slips or even bragging rights. It's for pride, for respect, for an unspoken understanding between two men on opposite sides of the law, yet bound by a shared passion for speed and a mutual, complicated respect. They push their machines to the absolute limit. It's a blur of chrome, muscle, and raw power. They cross a train track, narrowly avoiding a speeding train, a symbolic moment of tempting fate. And then, just as the race is neck and neck, Dom's Charger clips a truck, sending it spinning into a spectacular crash. Brian rushes to the wreckage, expecting the worst. But Dom, battered but alive, emerges from the twisted metal. In a poignant, defining moment, Brian makes his final decision. He looks at Dom, then at the keys to his Supra, and without a word, he hands them over. He lets Dom go. It's an act of profound loyalty, a sacrifice of his career for the man he's come to respect, the man who, despite everything, became a brother. What are your favorite moments from the original Fast and the Furious? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into cinematic history.